BBs, I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about my mediumship / psychic readings today. Woo! Yeah. That's right. Be excited. So I had a reading today and it was beautiful. And it was my mediumship / psychic reading, which I offer on my website, somedayatarot.com. And I was doing the reading, and even before I started the reading, I was just feeling all of this different energy. And I was like, wow, like this person is kind of going through what I went through, and this person's kind of experiencing the things I'm experiencing. How crazy. And her grandfather and her dad energy kind of like swirls through, and I'm like, okay. And then I feel this like really wise energy come in, and I'm like, okay, like this is like super interesting. Like we got a few people, I'm seeing lineages like going back and back. Like I'm seeing like who this person is within like her timeline, and I'm seeing like who this person is within their story and their journey through their ancestors and who they've known and who came before them, right? And so then we start getting into like the psychic part where, you know, I'm like, listen, like there's people here, but I need to tell you something. There's been a lot of information that's been coming in about you all morning. So like, I need to be able to like, let this out, go get your pen and paper. Let's get to it. Because I talk really fast, and a lot of the times I want people to write things down so that you're not just in the moment like, oh, I'll remember this later, and you end up forgetting something that could have been useful for later, you know? Let me drink some water. Drink of water. Anyways. Oh, that was a good one. Yay! That little sound. I always think about that little sound. Anyways, sorry. ADHD things. So she gets her pen and paper, and we start talking about her life and her past and what she's been through, and like how it's affecting her in her present and what she's experiencing in her present. And then we kind of get into like what I'm seeing for her as far as like what her decisions like are impacting right now, like giving her the clarity she needs that she's already been thinking of, but she just didn't know which way to go, because I have her guide speaking to me, so I know where her next steps like could be. So they give you options because there's free will, so you get to make whatever choice you're going to make. And I just like to help people get the educated options that they need in order to figure out what's going to be best, right? And obviously I'm going to state what Spirit's saying about each one of those options and how it's going to affect them. And then I keep going, and, you know, Dad and Grandpa are kind of intruding in, and not intruding, that's not a good word, but like, they're like, what is it when you just kind of like pitch in, like you're just like saying stuff like here and there. And so I'm like throwing that in, and she's like, this is making a lot of sense. And, you know, we get to a part where we start talking about family and, like how her family members were treating her, and how it was affecting this person. And it was just really interesting to be able to get really in there and be able to have her open up and allow me, because like you can set up certain boundaries with certain mediums and stuff like that. And there's this thing that's almost called like a lockbox or something like that you have deep inside of you. And it's like where all your like secrets and like all of your things are kind of like in, right? And so basically I'm like, listen, I need your permission to kind of get in here. And when we get in here, I could tell you what you need to know, you know, or you could just ask me the question, because either way we can get to it. So it's just more of like, are you ready for that yet or not? And so she just asked the question so that I don't have to even go into her lockbox, which is totally fine. It's like either way, as long as we can get to the core, I'm cool with it. So she asked me a question, and we get the answer for that. And it was just really beautiful. And, you know, a lot of clarity about things she had been thinking about a lot were coming up, which is always nice, because like, even for me, when I get readings and things like that, because I support other readers, I think it's super important. And so when I get readings and things like that, I love to hear more of their psychic part than anything else. So like if I'm getting a tarot reading, like I really want to know more, like the cards are useful, but I want to hear your spin on it. Like, of course I know what the cards mean, but like put your own spin on it so that, you know, I can get the message I need. And so that's what, like, you know, and then mediumship readings are just so beautiful, because a lot of the time, like, if you really need to connect with a person that passed away, they're gonna come, you know. And even when you're in a space where you need more of a psychic reading, like, those people are still there. It's just more of like, there's more information that you need to help you move further along, rather than like just focusing on that, you know what I mean? Unless you need that. And some people don't need that. Like, they need it, but they don't need it. And like, they just want a few questions answered. When they get their questions answered, then they can just get into that psychic, and we can get into there. And I always like to go back and forth because I think it's important, but a lot of the time, like, it's dependent on what that person needs. So if they need to speak to their passed on loved ones, that person's going to come through, you know, 9 times out of 10, unless they're an unsafe person or doesn't have their best interest in heart for them. You know what I mean? And then on the other side of that, like, sometimes your higher self and your shadow self need to have like a powwow with you. And so they need to like get to the root and the core of things that don't have anything to do with anybody else, but have to do with yourself. You know what I mean? So they'll get into that detail of like, what do you need? What are you seeking? What are you looking for? And how can we get here in the most efficient way? How can we use your talents and gifts to your advantage? And how can we kind of take a back pedal to things that are not serving us anymore? Like, how can we let that shit go so that we have less baggage as we're going in the direction that benefits us? You know what I mean? And so it was just a really good reading. And she got to connect with her father and her granddad, and also get that psychic part. So it was a really beautiful reading, but I just wanted to share that with you guys. If you enjoyed, please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you want more of these, because I love to share them. And obviously I don't give out names or anything like that. But I do like to speak about kind of like the overall experience. So if you guys would like me to do more of these, make sure you show some love, because it lets me know that you like it. And